Okay, we are ready.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of Harpenden Town Council Planning Committee on Tuesday, 21 July, just on 7:30. Town Council records all public meetings held in the council chamber. Under new legislation, members of the public are able to record, film and broadcast from a designated area. Please be aware that the meeting may be recorded and might be filmed and broadcast. Moving on. Heather, we have apologies for absence.
We do. We actually have 5 apologies for absence. So we have Councillor Nick Chester-Miles, who has a family commitment this evening, Councillor Kirsty Wen, Councillor John Gray, Councillor Sam Sperry are all away on separate holidays, and Councillor Fiona Gaskell is at a Scotland District Council meeting this evening.
Are we happy to accept those?
Yes.
Declaration of interest. Anybody have any declarations of interest? No.
Thank you.
Right, coming on to the minutes of the meeting of the planning committee held on 30th of June 2026. You know, Chair has approved and have been sent to the council, but are we still nonetheless happy to accept those for the record?
I think on the basis of the chairs.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. I could ask you to sign those for me. Lovely, thank you.
Coming on to item 4, Chairman's report and urgent items.
We have neither of those, Chair.
Item 5, public questions in accordance with Standing Orders 21 and 32.
None have been received, Chair.
Right. Letters of objection.
No, none have been received even since the agenda was issued.
Right, thank you. Okay, let's move on then to applications. So if you look at page 10 in your pack, we're looking at applications registered weekend in 26, June 26. Calling deadline 24 July 26. Right. So 5/20/26 11/20 1114 1086 1046 do not meet the criteria of consideration by this committee, which takes us to 5/20/26 1084. West 10 to 12 Station Road, Harpenden.
Give me just a second. Okay, this application is a resubmission following approval of a similarly described application in May 2026. Technically, the changes from the approved scheme are pretty minimal. The extension to the rear to provide an external staircase is now contained internally with storage and small changes to the positioning of windows. But fundamentally, everything is still staying the same. Proposal is, however, moving from providing 1 2-bedroom flat to 2 1-bedroom flats, therefore contributing another property to the housing supply in a sustainable location. The ground floor commercial element remains unchanged. Relevant information for the site is to the rear of shops on Station Road in a courtyard straight parking area for shops in the vicinity. This proposal is looking to extend the side of an existing single-storey rear projection and add a first floor above the whole rear projection. Despite there being no allocated parking for the proposal site, there is available parking within the site. There now appears to be a precedent set for parking-free development in the town centre in recent times, using Leighton Road and Leighton Green and 16 the High Street as potential examples. The area is in the conservation area and the shops in Station Road near to the site are locally listed. And I've said consider no objections, subject to the appropriate design and use of materials in the conservation area with the supporting policies.
Did we have any comments? Observation?
We approved the last one, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so that there shouldn't really be any reason not to approve this one, is there?
And is it always a positive thing to think that you're getting more housing stock as opposed to perhaps 2?
Yeah, accessible and 1-bedroom accessible housing stock too.
Yes,
With
yeah, they
central
would,
town.
yeah, they would deem it as being a positive, especially in that particular location.
because you can, and you can really, this is a case you can walk to the centre.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, it is at the town centre in the station. You can
Yeah.
see-
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just
No.
sometimes they just say, well, people will walk, and you're like, no, they won't.
No,
But this really is a case somebody could live here and not have a car.
You would hope. I think.
Yeah, but-
Okay, so are we happy?
Yeah.
With
Yeah, I am, yeah.
recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. 5/2026/0909 doesn't meet our criteria. Orders 1177. Orders 1051. Let me move on to, orders 1163, so now moving on to 1189. On page 12. And Ambrose Lane, Hartlepool.
Okay, the property which is locally listed in the Hartlepool Conservation Area is the right-hand side of a pair of semi-detached properties. The pair of properties sit further back than both the neighbouring properties by a short distance for number 37 and by a good distance for number 43. So much so that the front building line for number 41 is sat further behind the rear building line for number 43. This application is looking to a ground floor infill a section to the rear to be in line with the existing rear building line, and at first floor extend partially over an existing ground floor element and over the new rear extension to create an additional bedroom and ensuite. The attached semi-detached number 39 has extended in a similar way to what is proposed here, with a gabled roof extension, but does not extend quite as far rearwards as this proposal. Due to the positioning of the properties and there being no properties directly behind, proposal appears to have no detrimental impact and is in keeping with the host dwelling and surrounding area. There is ample parking permission on the frontage, and I've said consider no objections, subject to proposal being deemed an acceptable addition to this locally listed property in the Hartlepool Conservation Area with the supporting policies.
Any thoughts?
You don't know what the building is that's sort of at the top middle of the photograph that you've provided us with.
Yes, so I think is that kind of the area there where there's a little tiny section, the notch out on the screen up there. They're garages.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of those garages actually belongs to that particular house there, but they are accessed off of Hillside Road.
Just wanted to check.
Yeah, no,
As you said, there was
absolutely.
nothing at
Yeah.
the rear. So.
That's mirroring what's done next door already. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's not coming back quite as far as what the neighbour has done, which I think you can sort of see here in this picture here in the post, but it's marginal, really.
Yeah, I don't have, yeah,
Fine. Any problem with it?
yeah.
You're happy to approve that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're positioned so it's sort of so differently.
Yeah.
You can see
I
there,
think-
like number 43 is set so much further forward. that-
They're all quite different houses along there as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
A long running issue with one of those houses.
There was one where we had an application come back was in forward several
Yeah.
times, for what felt
I
like a
can't
strange
remember.
reason,
Yeah.
but I think they did get permission in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You. 5/2026, 1137. And 1126, 1176. 3. And 1152. And 1202. And 0868 do not meet criteria for being considered as committee, which takes us to 5/2026. 1222. Here's Grasmere Avenue, Harpenden.
Okay, this committee considered a similarly described application earlier this year, which was approved by the LPA. This resubmitted application seeking permission for slightly more modest scheme. The ground floor footprint is not extending as far rearwards, but a small addition is added to the proposed front extension so that the side wall becomes uniform down the side. At first floor, the rear projection is reduced to fall in line with the reduced ground floor footprints, though the side element is extending over the new side ground floor element. Relevant information is property sits in a plot that narrows to the rear No, stop it, no.
Sorry,
Okay,
it's the trains.
right, come in, take a seat. It's okay. The property sits on a plot that narrows to the rear due to its positioning on a curve in the road. Due to the neighbouring property sitting on larger footprints, the new extended rear building line falls short of the rear building line for number 9 Wildsmith Avenue. The reduced rear projection is also works favourably for number 5 to ensure the 45-degree visibility zone is not obstructed. The ridge height is not increasing, just further bulk and massing added, although it is in keeping with the host dwelling. There are varying bulk and styles of property in the streets. Proposals will expand the open planned living accommodation at ground floor level and enlarge the existing bedrooms at first floor level. No additional bedrooms are added. Despite the loss of garage, there's ample parking provision on the frontage and no tree works and not conservation area. I say consider no objection, subject to no loss of amenity to the neighbouring properties and the supporting policies.
Do you have any comment?
No,
I'm
no, quite happy with that.
quite happy.
No, it seems to make sense, doesn't it, to fill that in? Where there was that little dog leg in the door, they've obviously decided they don't want the door, so filling that in, I think makes sense, doesn't it?
Anything contentious?
It's, I mean, if anything, it's a smaller scheme.
Yeah.
You see there sort of kind of what the previous one that was approved
Yes.
on the right and what they're actually proposing to do now is far less.
Yeah.
Okay, all happy?
Yep.
Yep.
So there's been nothing contentious so far, so nothing just anything. I think we need to revisit. Okay, moving on. 5/2026, 12/21 doesn't meet the criteria. Moves us on to 5/2026, 12/96. 3 Howfield Carpenter.
Okay, this committee considered a previous application earlier this year, which was subsequently refused by the LPA. This proposal is looking to address the reasons for refusal by removing the front gable roofed bedroom extension to the side of number 5 Howfield, leaving just one gabled front extension to the side of number 1. The removal of one extension will mean that part of the existing flat roof front and the window element will be retained, which will contribute to the retention of the character shared by other properties in the road, which was referenced by the LPA. Relevant information is that the properties in this line of the street are characterised by deep gabled roofs down to the ground floor window line, with flat roof dormer windows across the roof slope. The new proposal is now just looking to extend the first floor at the front on the side of number 1 Howfield to fall in line with the ground floor footprint, which will enable the extension of one existing front bedroom and create extra ceiling height. The building line of the properties is slightly staggered down the street, therefore the property is sat marginally forward to number 1 and slightly further back than number 5. Despite the removal of one of the front gabled extensions, the proposal is still a departure from the style and character of the street scene, however less so than in the refused application. The retention of the extension to the side of number 1, the forward projection could still have a detrimental impact on them. I've said consider no objections, subject to previous reasons for refusal deemed to have been addressed, and no less than number 1 Howfield and the supporting policies.
Didn't we let that one through?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so we didn't have a problem with it last time, but St Albans said refused by reason of the scale, bulk, form and design of the proposed first floor front extension, which would introduce a dominant 2-storey appearance and disrupt the cohesive chalet bungalow character of this uniform row of dwellings. So,
So nothing from number 1 then?
no,
No, I don't have a problem with this. I thought the other one was okay too.
Agreed.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, okay. Yeah, with that.
Yep.
Right, 5/2026, 12/16 doesn't meet the criteria, so we move on to 5/2026, 1232. Range Court Road Apartment.
okay, this application is a resubmission seeking approval for very minor changes to the application which gained permission earlier this year. The changes are detailed and depicted in the supporting street scene document provided to council separately, but they are broadly repositioning of windows, addition of solar panels, small extensions to a ground floor and to a first floor element, and increase in ridge height by 150 millimetres to conceal the proposed solar panels. These changes are relatively insignificant given the scale, bulk and massing of the proposed new dwelling. I'll say consider no objection. I think that there's a series of little arrows and things that I think I've included within your packs to show the suggested changes, which are insignificant really, but because of their material changes, they've had to seek full planning permission again. No, they're not.
You can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Page 17 now.
5/2026, 1235, 5 Railway Park and Bean House.
The property sits on a good sized plot with single story elements to either side, which adds to the feeling of space to the neighbouring properties. The character appears to be the original style with a deep sloping front roof with a flat roofed dormer. The proposer is looking to extend the property in a number of ways. Double garage is to be demolished with a 2-story extension added with space down the boundary. This will expand the ground floor living space and add 2 bedrooms with en-suites at first floor. A wraparound ground floor extension is also proposed to further expand the ground floor accommodation with an element that is attached to the boundary of number 3 Berrywick. The current open overhang element to the front is to be enclosed to become part of the main house. This adds cohesion to the 2 front projecting elements. Existing front dormer window flat roof is changed to a gable roof to match the roof design of the 2-story extension on the opposite side. The design and character are changing from the existing, but the new appears to be in keeping with properties that have undergone recent building work in the surrounding area. Number 3 Berrywick has been extended and covers a large footprint, but only single-story extensions are proposed to this boundary line. The 2-story element is proposed to the side of number 7, with the front and rear building lines of the proposed 2-story extension falling in line with that of number 7. Therefore, there appears to be no loss of immunity to the neighbouring properties from the proposal. A garage element is retained, but it is not clear if this will be large enough to accommodate vehicles or just to be used for storage. However, there is ample parking on the frontage, not conservation area and no tree work. Consider no objection. Thoughts?
They've all been developed on that road.
Yeah.
Be one of the few ones that hasn't.
I think we've got another one actually further on.
Yes.
Berrywick to look at, yeah.
It's obviously
I think they're
catching.
beginning to.
It's moved out from the central West Common and people buy the plots and do them.
It's happening all over. Are you happy with this?
Yes.
Thank you. Walk of the Devil.
Yeah, it is.
2026, 1159, 24 Berry.
Okay, the property is gable fronted with deep roof slopes with accommodation within and another gable roof element to the side with a large linked flat roof double garage beyond. Proposers looking to demolish the garage and replace with a 2-story extension to join the roof form with existing side gable with a single integral garage and other ground floor accommodation. At first floor, there is bedroom accommodation with 2 front and 1 rear dormer windows. The rear is proposed to add another 2-story extension joining as the rear of the new side 2-story extension. This will achieve open plan kitchen, dining, living space at ground floor, a bedroom with an ensuite at first floor. The first floor element follows the same design of the original house with the accommodation delivered in a deep gable roofed element. Proposal adds 1 further bedroom to total 5 across the property. The ridge height is not increasing and space is being retained down the boundaries. The 45-degree visibility zone for both neighbouring properties is not obstructed. The style and design appears in keeping and follows a similar style to other properties in their vicinity that have undergone extension. Not conservation area and no tree work. There's ample parking provision on the frontage and 1 garage space is provided. Consider no objection.
There been any comments from next door, because they're obviously going towards one of the properties, aren't they?
Yeah, no.
The 2-story.
I checked just this afternoon for all of the applications we're looking at and there was no objections for any of them.
Justifies when they come, their planning permission.
Yeah.
Once time.
Possibly.
Happy with that one then? We can, yeah.
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 Thank you.
It's quite in keeping as well.
Yes, I mean, it's a different, it starts off as a different style house to the other one that we just looked
Yeah.
at. But
Keeping as in what it was.
yeah,
Much more so than most of them.
Yeah.
Right, right. 1072, 1171, let's make it right here. Here we are now. Moving on to appeals. We have the details of one where Avenue St Nicholas Harpenden.
yeah, no, not really. So this one actually, although obviously it was refused at district council and then went to appeal and was dismissed, it didn't fulfil the criteria for us to look at this particular application, so we didn't pass comment.
Anything else?
No, was it, we didn't pass comment on the gates. Was that that one? No.
No, no, so we'll come on to that
Oh,
in
okay,
a second,
that-
yeah, no, that's
sorry.
okay. Okay, so that's that, and then I don't think there'll be any tree works this time. What I would like to do is just draw attention to in the list of applications that were determined, so on page 26, there's the application which this committee looked at some time ago, which was for 27 Barlings Road, which actually I think you might remember, because I think Councillor Bain substituted for this particular application, where the town council were quite concerned about these 6-foot black metal gates to be added to this particular property here. So I think,
Because this was a discussion that everything is really open.
yes,
The whole close is completely open and they wanted a fence and these massive gates.
Yeah.
I think that was the discussion, wasn't it?
I think, and the discussion also was that they were using examples of gates that supposedly were in the area, but they weren't as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, this application has been withdrawn, so which was
Oh,
quite
right.
telling that
Oh,
I
okay.
think that they probably got the,
I mean, it wasn't even like a waist high wall. It was,
no, 6 foot.
yeah, I mean,
They not the black gate. Okay.
They were using examples of.
Yes, yeah, they were
Which one
using it because, well, they said,
They're all around Hartman. They certainly
Yeah.
were.
Right.
whereas actually, if you look down the close, everything is,
Yeah.
the people complaining in the close were saying that if you look down the close, everything is open.
Hmm.
The lawns go down and there's not even little fences round. They look all like, the rest of the close looks like that.
Yeah,
So they've got a little tiny little doofree one, but so having those 6-foot numbers at the end was quite a statement.
Explain why they wanted them.
no, they don't often sort of explain the reason why. Yeah, the fact that they've withdrawn tells me that they probably had an idea from the case officer that they wouldn't have got permission for them, so they just withdrew. Because they were part of an original application for the actual demolition and the rebuild of the main property. They will sort of form part of that application, but they removed that section from the application to get it through, get the permission through. Then we had the fresh application solely for the gates, and those have now also been withdrawn.
I think there were people on the street who raised objections to it
Yes.
as well. Yeah, that was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their argument was that it looks like that with no fencing, which I think everyone felt was pretty valid.
And I think that was the only one that I wanted to draw attention to on this occasion. Next.
Yes, the evidence of similar gates in Barling Road. Right down, because that's not next door neighbour.
Exactly, it was, yeah, that was the thing.
One down from our, not Barling,
Yeah,
and I'm not convinced the other ones are either.
no, I mean, I think we had a look round, and I think it does look, that picture there was a good example of what it looks like.
Got that included these, but yeah, these are Barlings Road.
No, I think West Common, but maybe.
When people on West Common are concerned about cars being stolen.
Of course, absolutely,
Of
yeah.
course, aren't they? And can see why people have half an eye on keeping their property secure.
There's definitely, yeah, I mean, there's, obviously there's a sort of private security firm now that's operates them.
Yeah. People have those rising bollards on their drive as well.
Yeah.
In some of the areas, don't they?
Yes, we've got that one.
There are perhaps more specific ways that this particular family could look at maybe feeling a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's just the maybe the design, the materials and the height,
Yeah.
you know, there's.
It was quite dramatic where you've got open and then 6 foot.
Mm.
Not very neighbourly.
Hmm?
You could argue it's not very neighbourly.
Okay, and that concludes business.
Right, thank you
So
very much.
meeting closed at 7:58.
You can do.
So. Yeah.
One still training like that.
Pencilings.
How did it actually break down?
It just didn't go.